Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Today we are gonna do some watercolor. We're gonna do a giraffe that I have to admit has been hanging around a little while with me. So, in the spirit of finishing what you start, um, we are going to do this watercolor giraffe. The fun part of it is, though, we got buff titanium right before painting the giraffe, which was super exciting. Buff titanium, Potter's pink, Paynes gray. So Paynes gray, Potter's pink, and the buff titanium. Definitely got to use buff titanium and the Paynes gray. Potter's pink, I think maybe a little bit in the facial features where it's like a little bit pinker in the giraffe's like mouth area, but I don't think I really got to use it very much, if at all, really. The Payne's gray got to use in like the ears and some of the darker parts, and the buff titanium used throughout this whole giraffe. I gotta say, I was always curious about buff titanium and how it worked, how well it worked. Was it very opaque and that sort of thing? Oh, by the way, this is Daniel Smith's buff titanium, and I absolutely love it because it gives just a little hint of color to some stuff where it changes it or it can mute different colors. I'm gonna have to do a graph with a whole bunch of colors because I haven't even scratched the surface on the kind of mixes and the kind of cool stuff. And I don't use white with the watercolors or anything. And to me, it's really not a white. It's it's like its own, and it's not even opaque, really, like too opaque. Like I said, I'll have to do some tests and kind of see. But I was afraid it was going to be very similar to white and very opaque and stuff. And I was super happy to know that it was not. So, um, but I really enjoyed using it, and I enjoyed painting this giraffe actually. Another thing is the cerulean blue that I did on the sky. I guess because I started out with Schminka, the first like pan set that I had is very much, it does not have a lot of granulating colors. And so I don't know if that's why I never realized that the like cerulean blue and some of the colors that can be very granulating aren't as granulating, I feel like, in the Schminka. And so I really didn't see that coming, that like doing a soft, uh, cerulean blue background was going to give me such, you know, the so much granulation on there. And it's not like granulation's bad. I just want to do it where I choose to put it. And so later on, I know I do another I think it's ultramarine blue that I put, and I think that was Schminky so that it, was a little bit more flat. I mean, it's actually nice that it does do some granulation. It just did so much that I was not expecting. But you live and you learn, and that's how you learn and grow and do all kinds of things. So I think it looked good in the end with the other layer that kind of calmed it down a little bit. And the Payne's Gray, I really like this Payne's Gray, the Daniel Smith Payne's Gray. I actually really like to mix the Moon Glow and Payne's Gray. If you guys haven't tried it, it's kind of a cool mix because Payne's Gray, leans so much blue, and Moon Glow is, leans lavender purplish. And so as a good, and referring to as a good kind of shadow color, they kind of cancel. It's not blue or purple, it's kind of a little bit of both, and it's kind of a cool shadow color I've played around with a little bit when it's like I don't want it to heavily lean to one or the other. um but yeah, in this one, so in like the giraffes, main fur, it is very much buff titanium, and then I play around with the gold, like I have gold ochre and then I have the yellow ochre, which was really good, and then the mixes of those with the buff titanium in it as well, and it just gives some really cool for the spots and stuff like that, and the shadows on the spots. Was a lot of fun to do with this giraffe. Although it was hanging around for a little while, it's not like it didn't want to paint it or I hadn't even started it. It's just, you guys ever have that happen where you have all good intentions of starting something and then it kind of hangs around so long, like you've kind of got the sketch of it out or what have you, and then that like the thrill is kind of gone from it for a little while, if you will. Like if you would have acted on it quicker, then it would have still been exciting, but now it's kind of like it it's just, an older idea at this point or what have you. And um I hate when that happens, and I've been trying to make sure that I am following through with the things I'm starting more. I think especially with any pieces that have actually been started, like you've done some layers and maybe you're not extremely happy with the way it's going into or what have you. Like I'm trying to make sure I am finishing it, because I think, contrary to what people might think, I think that's where you can really learn some stuff. Sure, it can be a little painful because you're learning it through, like, oh, I wish I could have, wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have. I think even if you have to, you're doing a watercolor and it's really taken a turn that you don't like, and even if you've got to take gouache and get it to something that you love, that you like and stuff. You make your own rules. It's not like you can't have a, mixed media piece and stuff like that. I think that's where you really learn to grow and problem solve and fix things. And I think that's a lot what art is problem solving. You are wanting something to look a certain way and you've got to figure it out to get it to look that way. And so there's all kinds of different methods. So I really, at least for me, like, I don't know, maybe I was really bad at it from the beginning, is just starting things and not really liking it, or I guess it wasn't exactly perfect this way or whatever. And it's not like I would consciously give up on it, it just would find its way to the side, and I was working on other things. And then it's really hard to get yourself to go backwards. Um, so I am really trying to make sure that I am all those little things hanging around, that I am finishing them, and um, one way or another, whether it was the way I um, was going to do in the beginning or if it's a different way, uh, including this little giraffe. Why I had it on with the hibiscus and didn't cut the paper, I have no idea. But I had this taped down on this board with no, I didn't have even the divider tape, and I had the draft sketched out on it. And first of all, you shouldn't have tape on the stuff for that long. That'll ruin, right there if you're leaving it on for a long period of time. And so, like, I've got to paint this thing. So, finally got in there and proud of myself for painting it. I am happy how the draft came out. Um, and I want to paint more animals and think definitely like botanical and animals and stuff is where, for the most part, my heart is, and some portraits and stuff, definitely. Um, as much as I like to branch out here and there and do different stuff, I think my heart is truly with the nature in general. So, getting all the details in on everything, getting the shadows, and that a lot of that is done with the Paynes gray, like coming down the neck here and stuff like that. A little closer up. Here's where, like I was saying, I did the background again with this is a layer of ultramarine blue, I believe, just to try to tone down the, not that it doesn't granulate as well, but um, I figured between the two, it would be a nice flat um, background. So yeah, just so if you guys are still with me, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, that would help me out. Small little channels need all the help we can get. And there we go. We're coming to a close. If you guys don't know, it's a good trick to hit it with your heat gun to help get the tape off. But I look forward to having you guys come along on the next video and doing many more videos this year. If there's something you would like to see, definitely drop me a line, email, all that stuff is included if you go to the channel, um, Instagram, all that stuff. Thank you. Come see us again soon.